Hello and welcome to this lesson. This lesson is going to be looking at free writing and it comes on a week when many of you will be physically coming back into school. We're all very excited to see those of you who are going to be there, so bearing that in mind we've put together a lesson which is perhaps slightly lighter in some respects. However, it is important that you do the two things that are in there in the order that they're given. The first thing I've asked you to do is to read chapters 10 and 11. Now these two chapters in particular, chapter 11 is pivotal in the novel. It is the central event and it is the event around which everything else hinges, so we need to make sure we've read it. Even more so, as in the lesson, we're going to be asking you to give a free writing response to that. And free writing is something we're going to have a look at in a minute, but first of all I think we'll just do a quick recap of those chapters. So, up on screen now you have a summary of chapters 10 and 11. Now, hopefully you've read both of those, but it's useful to see them there and to remind yourself of the events, because we need to have an opinion on these. You can't help but have an opinion upon these, especially chapter 11, which is the defining moment in all that has happened, especially in Francis's life, and of course in the life of Nicole and even Larry. It's what the whole novel is about, so we need to be clear on that, and it's natural for us to have views that we want to get across. Bearing that in mind, we've decided to set a free writing task. Now, free writing is something you will have come across before, sometimes with that title, sometimes with a different name. But basically free writing is a method, a technique used to get your ideas down quickly and in a fairly unfiltered way. It isn't a way of producing a finalised piece of formal writing. What it is a form of ideas generation, and it helps you sometimes to do this as a way of getting those ideas out and crystallising those thoughts. So bearing that in mind, we've put together three key principles there. They're on the screen next to me, but we'll just go through them quite quickly. The first one is, of course, to write what you think. This is about your opinion, your thoughts, your feelings. It's that. So you need to make sure you're writing what you think, not what you think we're going to want you to say. You've got to be honest. Second thing is not to worry about accuracy, which sounds counterintuitive from an English teacher, but for this kind of writing it is about getting the ideas down. It is not about producing something which is polished. So spelling, punctuation and grammar don't go completely out of the window, but they're not your principal focus. Your main focus is getting your views out. The third thing is to keep writing. Even if you get stuck, which you probably will, and you find yourself going around in circles a little bit and being repetitive, go for it. Keep writing. Now, bearing that in mind, I'm going to move on to the next slide now, which has the actual tasks for you. Now, it is a free writing task, so by its very nature, it's free, it's open, it's up to you what you do. However, we often find that people like to have something to think about to start off before they write. They need a statement to mobilise their thoughts against, something to help them get going. So, bearing this in mind, we've given you three options. Option 1 gives you a statement, one which is very relevant for later in the novella. Larry LaSalle's bad actions erase all the good he has achieved. Give your views on this statement. The nature of what makes a person, how we judge an individual, is at the very core of this novel. It's called Heroes, and it's about some people who are labelled heroes, some of whom have done things which are heroic, some have done things which are probably not conventionally heroic, and some, like Larry, are ambiguous. They've done a range of different things, and it's asking you, the novel, to consider this and to think about it. What makes a hero? How do we judge an individual? The second option is asking us to focus on Francis instead. It says, Francis plans to kill Larry because of his actions towards Nicole. To what extent will this make him a criminal too? Now, in the most plain interpretation of law, I suppose, it will make him a criminal because he will have killed a person, which will be a crime of some sort. However, again, it's asking you to think about culpability, guilt, responsibility. It's a deep question, and again, it's about your thoughts. It's not asking for a complete answer, it's asking for what you think and the thoughts that are going through your head. Now the third option is truly free writing, open choice. I've invited you to give some kind of written response to any aspect of what you've read. So it doesn't have to be limited to this section. It could be about a character of your choice. It could be about a theme or even an issue. You know, there are lots of issues that come about in this novel relating to what makes a hero, relating to how we judge a human being, and so many other things. This is your invitation to get some of those thoughts across. Whatever you choose, I've said there to spend about 10 minutes on this. Free writing isn't something that you use to produce a lengthy piece of writing. It's something used for getting your ideas out before you then sit back and look at them and think about them. And that really is the aim of this lesson. So, remember, you choose your task. Spend in the region of 10 minutes, that will be enough. Make sure you share that work with your teacher in the usual place. And I look forward to seeing some of you in the week ahead.